Antarctica wasn't always a silent kingdom of ice and snow. Long before it froze over, this land at the bottom of the world was alive, covered in thick jungles, rivers, and strange animals unlike anything we see today. And 56 million years ago, something terrifying ruled those forests. A giant flesh-eating bird. It stood nearly 6 feet tall, weighed as much as a lion, and had a hooked beak built to tear prey apart. For millions of years, it had no rival. But then, it vanished. Why did this prehistoric nightmare disappear? And could something even bigger still lie hidden beneath Antarctica's ice? The story begins with 2 enormous claw bones dug up on Seymour Island, sharp, curved, and powerful. They were unmistakable, the remains of a terror bird, part of the fearsome Pherucidae family. These creatures couldn't fly, but they didn't need wings. They were sprinting predators, as fast as ostriches, but with the hunting instincts of a raptor. Imagine being chased by a bird as tall as you, able to snap bones with its beak. For ages, they dominated South America. And now, paleontologists confirmed they once roamed Antarctica too. Back then, Antarctica wasn't cut off by ocean currents and ice. It was still connected to South America, letting animals migrate freely. Terror birds likely crossed the land bridge, adapted to the lush Antarctic forests, and flourished there. But eventually, the world began to cool. The forests died, prey grew scarce, and these predators disappeared. All that remains today are those chilling claws. A haunting reminder of the monsters that once ruled the South. But the terror birds weren't alone. Antarctica's past was filled with giants. Around 38 million years ago, enormous penguins lived here too, some the size of humans. Unlike the waddling emperors we see today, these ancient penguins were sleek hunters with long, spear-like beaks perfectly designed to snatch fish and squid. Imagine swimming beside one eye-to-eye with a penguin that could weigh more than you. Even now, the waters of Antarctica are full of monsters. The colossal squid dwarfs its more famous cousin, the giant squid, reaching lengths of over 40 feet, with beaks sharp enough to slice through flesh and eyes the size of dinner plates. It's the kind of animal that would have inspired sailors' nightmares for centuries. And above them all, orcas, the true apex predators of the Antarctic seas, hunt in coordinated packs, taking down seals, fish, and even massive whales. Life on land may be sparse, but it's not empty. Mosses, algae, and tough grasses somehow cling to survival against impossible odds. Antarctica may look barren, but it's never been lifeless. And yet, mysteries keep piling up here. Icebergs, for example. Most people think they just break off a glacier and drift straight into the ocean, but their journeys are far more chaotic. Some get stuck on the seafloor for decades, spinning in place, trapped in whirlpools. One massive iceberg, named A23A, stayed frozen in one spot for nearly 40 years before currents finally set it free. Then there are the myths. Conspiracy theorists love to claim that Antarctica hides an ice wall blocking explorers, or even secret doorways spotted on satellite maps. In reality, that ice wall is nothing more than a towering ice shelf, vast slabs of frozen water stretching from the continent into the sea. And the so-called doorways, just grounded icebergs shaped by wind and time into strange, dramatic forms. Antarctica doesn't need fantasy to be mysterious. The truth is fascinating enough. The continent is also home to bustling research hubs. McMurdo Station, for example, isn't just a camp, it's a full-on town with over 1,000 residents in summer. Electricity, heating, medical centers, even gyms, all built to withstand the harshest climate on Earth. At the South Pole Station, thousands of miles from civilization, scientists live year-round in one of the most extreme environments imaginable. Supplying these places requires enormous effort. Planes flying through brutal cold, carrying food, fuel, and everything needed to survive. But recently, Antarctica reminded us that its future might look strangely like its past. In a place where temperatures usually plunge to minus 112 degrees Fahrenheit, something shocking happened. In 2020, scientists recorded nearly 69 degrees Fahrenheit on Seymour Island, warmer than many European cities at the same time. For the first time in human history, Antarctica felt almost tropical. It's a warning. The ice that defines this continent is melting faster than expected. The climate is shifting, and the land that once sheltered jungles and monsters might be waking up. Again, they're also wondering whether there might be even bigger species waiting to be discovered. Perhaps
A
these
long
birds
time ago,
evolved into
it
a
was
completely
full of
new
life, and
Antarctic
56
lineage.
million
But for
years
now,
ago,
all we
something
have are two
terrifying
giant
stalked
creepy
its
claws.
jungles.
People
A
often
giant
think that there are almost
flesh-eating
no
bird.
animals or plants in Antarctica.
It was around
That's
6
not
feet
true at
tall
all.
and weighed as
Penguins
much as a
waddle
lion.
around, and forget the cute tiny
Paleontologists
ones.
found
Antarctica
two
used to have
massive,
6-foot-tall
curved,
monsters.
and powerful,
The emperor
belonging
penguins
to this
are the
bird.
largest penguin species
They were dug up
alive
from the
today.
Epresian
They can
aged
dive
rocks
over
of Seymour
1,800
Island,
feet deep,
which means
and
they're
hold their
around
breath
40
for
to
over 20
50
minutes.
million years
There were
old.
giant ancient penguins around
Their shape
38
left
million
no
years
doubt.
ago.
These were
They
the
size
so-called
of humans.
terror birds.
Fossils show
Their
they had
scientific
long, sharp
name is
beaks,
Forest
making them
Rhapsody.
terrifying hunters
Some of the most
fish and
fearsome
squid.
predators to
The fish
ever
there
walk
are
the
also
earth.
absolutely fascinating.
Of an animal
The
vanished.
giant squids.
Why?
Colossal squids are nightmares.
Most
even
likely
bigger.
because of the
Some reach
temperature
over
change.
40 feet long. with
Antarctica
massive,
was
super
cooler,
sharp beaks,
slowly turning into
and
the
eyes
frozen
size of
wasteland
dinner
we
plates.
know today.
Finally,
Its
orcas,
prey may
the
have
apex
declined,
predators of
leaving
the
the
Antarctic
predator
Ocean.
without enough
They
food.
hunt in packs,
Eventually,
working
it
together like a
disappeared,
wolf pack
leaving
in the
no
sea
descendants
to
behind.
take down seals, fish,
Researchers
and even massive
hope
whales.
that they'll find
There
a
are even
complete
tiny
skeleton
plants,
eventually,
like moss and
waiting
algae,
to be discovered.
Antarctic hairgrass,
Perhaps these
and
birds
pearlwood.
evolved
They
into a
somehow
completely
survive
new
against all
Antarctic
odds.
lineage.
There are many
Giant,
other myths
creepy
going on
claws.
about Antarctica. For example, some
People
people
often think
when
that there are
icebergs break
penguins
off from
waddle
glaciers,
around and
they
forget the
immediately
cute
start
tiny
drifting
ones.
straight
Antarctica
into the open
used to
ocean
have
until they
6-foot
melt.
tall
But
monsters.
the reality is way
The
more
emperor
chaotic.
penguins are the largest
First,
penguin
when
species
an iceberg
alive
breaks
today.
off from a glacier or
They can
ice shelf,
dive over
it has to deal with
1,800
underwater
feet deep
obstacles
and hold their breath
It can
for
stay
over
stuck on the
20
seafloor
minutes.
for decades before moving.
There were
Then,
giant
they can
ancient
get caught in
penguins
powerful
around 38
whirlpools
million
and
years
spin
ago.
in place
They
for
were the
months.
size of humans.
One iceberg.
Fossils show terrifying hunters of
A23A
fish and
spent
squid.
nearly 40 years frozen in
The
place
fish there
before
are also
finally breaking
absolutely
free, only to
fascinating.
get caught in a
Forget
swirling
giant
ocean
squids.
vortex for
Colossal
another
squids
8
are
months.
nightmares
After
even
that,
bigger.
their paths are
Some reach
influenced by
over
ocean
40
currents,
feet long
tides,
with massive,
winds,
super
and even
sharp
underwater
beaks and
topography.
eyes the
They don't
size
just
of
float
dinner
freely.
plates.
Their movements are full of
Finally,
literal,
orcas,
unexpected twists.
the apex predators
And
of the
speaking
Antarctic
glaciers,
Ocean.
Another strange rumor
They
is that
hunt in
some
packs,
humans
working
can't
together.
travel more than
There are
311
even
miles
tiny
inland
plants,
in
like
Antarctica
Antarctic
because of an
hairgrass and
impassable
pearlwood.
ice wall. Freezing jet
Some people
fuel,
think that
deadly
when
winds,
icebergs break
no
off from
oxygen.
glaciers,
But
they
this is
immediately
completely
start
false.
drifting straight into the
Antarctica
open
has been
ocean
explored
until
by
they melt.
planes,
But the
vehicles,
reality
and
is
even
way more
scientists on
chaotic.
foot. There's an entire
First,
research
when an
station
iceberg
sitting at
breaks
the South
off from a
Pole.
glacier or ice
People live
shelf,
there all
it has
year
to deal
long.
with underwater
The ice wall is
obstacles.
real.
It
A
can stay
massive
stuck on
ice
the
cliff rising
seafloor for
above the ocean.
decades without
but
moving.
that isn't some secret
Then
barrier.
they get
It's an
caught in
ice shelf.
powerful whirlpools
These are
and
thick
spin in
slabs
place
of ice
for
that
months.
form when glaciers slowly flow off the land
And speaking
and
of
spread
glaciers,
over the ocean.
another
Almost
strange rumor
three-fourths of
is that some
Antarctica's
humans
coastline
can't
is made up
travel
of
more
them.
than
But
311
they don't
miles
form some
inland
giant
in
ring around
Antarctica
the world.
because of an impassable
Antarctica
ice wall,
is one of the most
freezing jet
extreme
fuel.
places on Earth.
But this is
But we have conquered its
Antarctica
challenges,
has been
and we
explored
keep
by
learning
planes,
more about
vehicles,
it every
and
year.
even scientists
That's why
on foot.
every year, millions
There's
of
an
dollars
entire
are
research
poured into
station
keeping
sitting at the
research
South
stations
Pole.
running, protecting
People
wildlife,
live there all
and making
year
sure
long.
the people who live there
The
have
ice wall
everything they
is
need.
real. A
But where
massive
does all
ice
this money
cliff
go?
rock is made
Well,
up of it.
Antarctica stations
But they don't
are
form some
basically small
giant
cities.
ring around the
There's
world.
electricity, heating,
Antarctica
water
is one of the
purification,
most
food storage,
extreme
and
places
medical
on Earth,
facilities.
and making
The
sure the
biggest
people
station,
who live
McMurdo,
there
is
have
basically
everything
a
they
town
need.
with over 1,000
But where
people
does all
in
this
summer.
money go?
It has everything
Basically
from a fire
small
station to a
cities.
gym. The South
Food
Pole
storage
Station is super deep
and
inland,
medical
so it's
facilities.
one of the hardest places to
The
supply.
biggest station,
Getting
McMurdo,
food
is
and fuel
basically
there
a
requires
town with over
airplanes flying
1,000
thousands of
people in
miles
summer.
extreme cold.
It has
But
to
the
a
internet
gym.
loves a good mystery. When Google
South
Maps
Pole
revealed
Station
what
is
looked like a
super
massive
deep inland.
doorway in Antarctica,
Conspiracy theorists
went wild.
People joked about everything from Bigfoot's vacation home to a secret base.
Or even a Star Trek
spaceship hangar
hidden
in the
But
ice.
there's a way simpler and less
But there's a
exciting
way simpler
explanation.
and
It's
less
actually
exciting
a grounded
explanation.
iceberg.
It's actually
chunk
a
of
grounded
ice that
iceberg.
got stuck in shallow water.
A chunk of ice that
and
got
is now
stuck in
slowly
shallow
melting
water
dot
and
as
is
ice
now
moves
slowly
across the
melting.
landscape. It flows around
As ice
bumps
moves
and
across the
obstacles,
landscape, it
creating
flows
odd shapes.
around bumps and
The process of
obstacles,
melting,
creating odd
breaking
shapes.
apart,
The process of
and refreezing
melting,
can
breaking
carve ice
apart,
into
and
unexpected forms.
The last stop before the icy
Antarctica
continent.
also has
52
incredibly
countries and
strong
global
downward-blowing
organizations.
winds
Private
that sculpt
airlines can
ice
actually
into dramatic
operate here,
formations over
making it
time.
the real air
No
connection
secret
to
doorway.
Antarctica.
Unfortunately,
Actually
and speaking
runs
of
the
doors
show.
for years,
Argentina made
has
a
been
huge
called
error
the
in picking
gateway
its
to
Antarctic
Antarctica.
airbase.
The last
Instead of
stop
setting up
before
a
the icy
simple,
continent,
accessible base
the
at
place
sea
where
level,
expeditions
operations
begin.
slow,
But there's
expensive,
another option,
and
Punta
frustrating.
Arenas,
I stubbornly
Chile.
stuck to this bad
Let's
decision.
compare them.
Well,
Ushuaia
it's past.
is closer
It's supposed to be the
Antarctica.
coldest place
It's
on
the
Earth,
top
and it
departure
sees
point
of
for
an animal
tourists going on
vanished.
cruises.
Why?
But no regular flights to
Most likely
Antarctica.
because of the
No
temperature
major
change.
scientific bases
Antarctica
operating from
was
here.
cooling,
It's
slowly
completely
turning into the
controlled by
frozen
military,
wasteland we
which
know
refuses
today.
to allow private flights.
Its prey
Only
may have
commercially
declined,
operated
leaving the
ships.
predator without
Yes,
enough food.
Punta Arenas is
Eventually,
further
it
from
disappeared,
Antarctica.
leaving no
22
descendants
countries
behind.
and global organizations
Researchers
use it as
hope
their
that
main
they'll
base.
find a complete
There are regular
skeleton
flights to
eventually,
Antarctica happening
waiting
there
to be
every
discovered.
year.